Your party finds themselves in the middle of a grove full of pumpkins, and at its center is what looks to be a giant pumpkin house. And in front of that house is a pumpkin person, but this one identifies himself as the Pumpkin King. And you hear the words, "Embrace the curse" once more. Now, some exposition must happen here, and the Pumpkin King explains that he used to be a powerful wizard, but his rival turned him into a giant pumpkin. And over time, he began to accept his new existence, but he was lonely. So he lured innocent passerbys and turned them into his little pumpkin people. Now, this can go down in several ways. If the party is persuasive enough, he can be talked into letting everyone go and living his life by himself, just being a giant pumpkin. But if they are unsuccessful, then he will use the villagers to attack the party, and the party should be reminded that these are innocent villagers. So the use of non-lethal force is recommended here. And if the party is able to defeat the pumpkin villagers, then they have some pumpkin vines to deal with. Now these will move around to block the path of the party, and the vines will even attack them, either slashing at them or entangling them. And the party will have to fight their way through the vines to get to the Pumpkin King. And if your party is in need of like a Deus Ex Machina moment, then you can have Lucy, because her sun moon staff starts to glow gold during the day, which means it's like past 6 a.m. And her fire spells will be enhanced, so she could just burn away all of the vines, all of the pumpkins, whatever the party needs for the moment. Now, a fight with the Pumpkin King himself will not be that difficult, but whenever he is struck down, he will reappear in place of another pumpkin. So, the other party members can go around smashing the pumpkin so that he will not have another pumpkin to jump to. Now, to stop him for good, the players will have to gain access to his pumpkin house. And they could do that in several ways. If they have a rogue, they can lockpick the door. But if they have a strong person, they could just bash the door in. And even the windows can be broken into if you have someone who could fit into smaller spaces. Now, when the players gain access to the house, they will notice that there is a beating heart inside of it. And destroying this beating heart will stop the Pumpkin King for good. It is sort of like a lich and his phylactery, if that kind of helps you get what I'm going with here. And with his heart destroyed, the Pumpkin King will be no more, and all the pumpkin villagers will turn back into their old selves. And after, there will be a short celebration thanking the party, and Lucy will give the party her sun moon staff as a reward for a job well done, and then she says goodbye and continues on her own journey in her pursuit of knowledge. And that concludes our Pumpkin Patch one-shot. What did you think of it? What are the things that you would keep? What are the things you would change? Comment down below and let me know. Okay, let's talk. The free model that I'm giving away for this week is the Pumpkin House. You could download this right now. There will be a link in the description down below. And it's printed in different parts. It has a removable roof and a removable upper wall. And the doors and the windows are held in place with magnets. And everything else that you see in the video are pretty much Patreon exclusive. So yeah, if you're interested, you can go to my Thingiverse and download all of my free stuff. And if you want to support me and download the extra stuff, you can find me on Patreon. And I just want to apologize. I wanted to paint all of my terrain, but I knew I didn't have enough time to do that. So I just printed it in like the appropriate like color with the FDM filaments. So hopefully it didn't look too bad. But yeah, and I did make my own tree, but obviously it's not as good as the Oathsworn one, but it is more functional. I made the top removable so you can like climb the tree, and the leaves are also removable, so if you want to have like a party up in a single tree, you could do that. And you could print all of my FDM like terrain models without any supports. I always keep that in mind when I model them. That's why the trees like branches go like upward and not out. just to make it easier on everyone. And previously I said I was going to consolidate the 3 parts into one video, and I had like a special announcement to go along with that. But I think my like complete one-shot video, I just want it to be like its own thing without any like interference from me. So I'm going to keep that just like its own thing, you know, for the bingers. So I'm not going to make that announcement in that video. I'm going to make that announcement now. So there are 2 things that I wanted to say. If you like this one shot, I am going to start selling physical bundles, maybe in like a week or so. So if you want to run it yourself, you could just buy that bundle and then run it. There will be 2 versions, a magnet-free version and a magnets applied version. So it'll be a mix of resin printed miniatures and FDM printed terrain. And the magnets applied version is for the people that don't want to mess with like buying all the different types of magnets that I use and using glue to apply them with the right polarity, because it can get kind of tricky. So if you don't want to mess with that, you can get the magnets applied version. I am asking you to put in a lot of work if you do buy the magnet-free version. But I think it's worth it. You can do cool things like, you know, switch out the heads for like little pumpkin heads. You know, you can't usually do that with normal miniatures. And the second part of my announcement is that within a week, I'm going to set up a merchant tier for my Patreon page. Pretty much all the good STL companies have a merchant tier. So this will allow you to print my stuff and sell it with like a limited license kind of thing. And the rules I'll go over with that merchant page if you're interested. So my hope is that no matter where you live in the world, there will be somebody close by that is, you know, on that merchant tier. So you can kind of like go to them and ask them like, hey, can you print this stuff for me? If you don't have your own printer at home. So yeah, that's my goal with this, you know, kind of cater to the non 3D printer people as well by selling the stuff myself and having merchant tiered Patreon supporters have the ability to sell it with their own like online stores as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I do like this direction. It's a lot more fun for me personally, but it's actually so much more work. Like this past month, I have not slept a lot. Like even as I'm recording this, it's like almost 3 a.m. and I have work tomorrow. So a lot more work, but I'm having more fun. So I think it's worth it. So if you like what I'm trying to do, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.